Hey everybody, happy Halloween. Yes, it is October 31st, and we are here to do our weekly recap for American Horror Story Cult, 7th season. We're going to be taking a look at the 8th episode, Winter of Our Discontent. But I just want to, again, I hope everybody's going to be going out, enjoying Halloween. I love this time of the year. Of all the holidays, it's my favorite. I wasn't even going to go with a hat today because I was loving how the hair was looking. But yeah, I want to do this because it's Jason from Friday the 13th hat. I'm all about that. So big Halloween fan. So guys, again, go out, enjoy, do some trick or treating, get some candy. You're never too old to trick or treat. Just make sure you dress up because that's kind of shitty if you don't. So yeah, excellent. One other thing too, for those of you who've been joining me in the recaps, I really appreciate it. For those of you who've been leaving comments, I really appreciate it. Don't hesitate to leave comments. If you have a problem or issue with something I have an opinion on, let me know. If I miss something, let me know. Hopefully, if you love what I'm saying, please, by all means, just leave tons of praise. But again, just to be not to be blunt, but just don't be assholes. At the end of the day, we all have opinions, we all have views. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I'd like to hear what you think about what I think. But let's just keep it an open, fair exchange because again, at the end of the day, it's all just our opinions. Okay. Now, without further ado, again, we're going to be taking a look at the recap of episode 8, Winter of Our Discontent. As you can tell from the title, clearly it's going to be a very Winter, Billy Lord centered episode or a prominent part of it. Discontent, yeah, that's probably a dramatic understatement. Just so you know, I have my resident cheat sheet here, just to be open, honest, and true confession. But again, we start off the episode, interestingly enough, with a meetup between brothers, Kai and Dr. Vincent. Up to this point, Dr. Vincent's really pretty much been the alpha of the family. He's got the education, he's got the practice, he has so much to lose. Now things are a little different. Kai, not just with the cult, but the fact that Kai is now a council person, the fact that he is now wielding power, the dynamic has changed. And, Dr. Vincent wants to come over and he wants to talk about how, hey, I'm here to help, I want to be a part of this, blah, blah, blah. You get the sense Dr. Vincent's doing this because he feels very uneasy that Kai is growing in ways that Dr. Vincent isn't aware of, and it's one of those, hey, let me not lose track of what's going on. Let me make sure I, have that sense of what's happening. Kai gets it. Kai's not stupid, and I love that scene towards the end where Kai really wants to remind his big brother, I'm a councilman. Now make sure you refer to me as that properly. And I just thought that was a nice little bit of pissing contest between brothers just before we go to credits. When we come back from credits, we see the women at the butchery who are essentially there at this point to just serve and take the abuse from the Hitler Youth that Kai has surrounded himself with. It's interesting because they all seem to be versions of Detective Samuels, who we'll learn more about and why I said that in a few minutes. But yeah, at this point, we're getting to, it's Hope, Ivy, and Winter. It's just from Hope and Ivy's standpoint, it's just like no, we're gonna have to stop this now. This is nonsense. We're just basically grunts here to serve the guys, as it always is when these things go down. Winter isn't so sure because again, she's getting pulled in a number of different directions. This, of course, is her brother she's talking about, and at the end, she's always going to feel like he's not going to have her worst interests at heart. And she references the fact that at even to the point where he had saved her life, and we go get a flashback to a time where, as brother and sister, they would go online and they would troll a lot of these sites, just taking differing opinions, just to get people kind of riled up. And they stumbled upon something called Judgment House with Pastor Charles, and they were invited down to this location. And it turns out that this Judgment House with Pastor Charles, who, by the way, I don't know, I didn't even bother to look it up because I could easily answer this question, but I'm just going to stick in my mind that goddamn was Rick Springfield. I swear to God that Pastor Charles looked like it was Rick Springfield. I know it didn't by the end, but I was expecting like Jesse's Girl to come rocking out. I'm going to be honest with you, or Love Somebody, and now I'm going to have to listen to Rick Springfield after this is over. But I digress. Thought he looked like Rick Springfield. It was one of those things that you may have heard about. There are like these haunted houses, but they're built for the ultra right wingy. So it's like a haunted house built on all the moral sins of society. What was screwed up about this was that it was real. It was so real. And Kai and Winter realize this, and they get a chance to actually not only to rescue the people who are there, who are all being tortured for essentially what this Pastor Charles considered them to be sinners for. None of them were. It's just who they were. It's just they didn't live up to Pastor Charles' moral litmus test. So Kai and Winter essentially take care of Pastor Charles. Kai basically makes sure that Pastor Charles will not be doing this again. But the really effed up part about this is if we believe it, is that that's confrontation with Pastor Charles was just what sent Kai over the edge. The idea of you can't save everybody. Look at this. Look what a mess it is. So he develops this attitude of I'd rather watch it all burn and then and control the masses that are left than to try to help. So it's a very heartbreaking. Again, if that's the case, if that's the true backstory. But it was that entire sequence was really effective, very effective. I would suggest rewatching that entire sequence again just because it's Halloween. Okay, we get back to Winter and to Kai. Kai makes a very interesting asks, well, I should say, references to Winter. So the girls are restless. Again, going back to the previous episode and the fact that he was aware of the Scum Manifesto, Kai has a lot of different things in play that we're not even sure about yet. Um, they end up having a pinky meeting where he swears again to her, I want total honesty, I want absolute truth. But what's interesting is that he gets upset and breaks it before he says to her, "You will be the mother of our Messiah baby." Now, where that gets kind of screwy is there's this initial assumption like, oh, like they were going to go the preacher route, which was just to kind of keep the lineage, quote unquote, clean, which is very incestuous, obviously. But no, apparently Kai's plan is for Winter to get impregnated by Detective Samuels, and then while Kai's having sex with Detective Samuels. Yeah, we're going to be touching upon that later on, but I figured I just needed to put that out there for context because when I first heard that, I was like, Kai wants to impregnate Winter. That's just not going to work. Um, but the reason why I brought up about the pinkies breaking is I'm wondering if Kai is just not doing a series of tests. And the fact that he didn't want to say that in any way, shape, or form while the pinkies were bonded. So he needed some way to break that bond before he said it. A couple other weird things through the episode that kind of lend credence to that, but I'll get back to that in a second. Anyway, we're going to get now to the point where Dr. Vincent and Allie meet up. We learn that Dr. Vincent did not give Kai information about Allie. We learned that Kai basically got the information by going through his brother, Dr. Vincent's files. Um, Allie is now realizing this is the final straw. She realizes who Dr. Vincent is after Dr. Vincent basically owns up to everything at this point. Dr. Vincent making promises that he's going to do right by Allie, that he's going to take care of this. Trust me, I will take care of it. Dr. Vincent leaves. Allie is not the same anymore. Allie is not going to trust people. She's not going to wait for other people to help her out or anything like that. We see right off the bat, as soon as Dr. Vincent left, Allie was just like, okay, I got a plan. I'm going to take care of this shit. This is going to happen my way. I'm going to make this work. And you're going to see in a couple minutes it does. We now jump to the creation of the Messiah sex scene between Kai, Detective Samuels, and Winter. It's interesting. It just falls apart. First off, the fact you have All for One's "I Swear" as the baby making music right off the bat, you're really starting it off painfully bad. And again, the fact that Detective Samuels is gay, we find out he's just not outwardly saying he's gay, but it's the look, quacks, acts, duck concept, and you'll see because it's just a matter of him not owning up to being gay is the way Kai's able to control him. So that just genuinely falls apart, and Winter just turns on Kai, and it's essentially like, this is insane, this is nuts, I have no idea what you're even doing. So that just doesn't happen in any way, shape, or form. We then get a chance to see Allie, who's waiting for somebody to show up, and who shows up but Kai. And we get a very interesting confrontation between the two. This is Allie at this point has information, and she's going to broker information to get what she wants. What she wants is Oz back. She doesn't give a rat's ass about Ivy. She wants Oz back, and she wants control of her life back, and she just wants to be separated from everybody else. And the information she's got is that Dr. Vincent is looking into Kai and trying to do whatever he can to take Kai down. So, yeah, that whole thing about how Allie wasn't going to trust Dr. Vincent, yeah, no, she has no time to wait for that. So she gets Kai to make her a sworn promise, and he does. She gives him the information, and it's interesting because Kai looks at her and says, "There's something different about you," and she says, "You cured me. I'm not afraid of anything anymore." And you see it. She's stone cold Allie at this point. She is just not there. Holes, no. Bees, no. Clowns, I'll punch him in the face. Yeah, this is just, she's gone through the fire, sent to the edge, and she didn't burn up. and she's going to come out of it. They say the whole idea about pressure makes diamonds. I think in this case, pressure is going to make one really screwed up hardcore diamond. Okay, now we're coming back to Winter, who we see on the side of the road in a big orange jumpsuit, and at first it looks like she's picking up garbage, when in fact she's actually dumping garbage on the road because, as Detective Samuels explains as he pulls up, Kai doesn't believe in global warming. Again, I'm not believing a lot of this stuff. I think this is all just kind of Kai's big plan to test everybody. But Detective Samuel rolls up. Winter gets in the car. They start having the conversation again about having the child, and we get to see Detective Samuel's backstory, which is not much different of the backstory than we pretty much assumed. They met because Detective Samuels basically bullied and beat up Kai to get a percentage, I think 70% of what Kai's drug dealing business was. But over time, Kai just played upon Detective Samuel's fear of his own sexuality. So he essentially got Detective Samuels to embrace his homosexuality without ever saying that he's gay or homosexual. And to say that Kai caps it off by being an introduction or an initiation for it, he does. But again, it's very interesting, that control factor. He essentially was able to tell Detective Samuels, look, there is nothing wrong with how you feel. All of it's fantastic, and how dare anybody label you in any way, shape, or form. He essentially took away the one fear that Detective Samuels had, which was being labeled gay, which is being called homosexual. Kai was able to take that away, and when you're able to take that kind of pain away, it's no surprise that Detective Samuels is just going to kind of get flooded right into what Kai is selling. Of course, we don't have to worry about Detective Samuels for long, because in the process of getting angry and pissed and wanting to do right by Kai, he attempts to rape and force impregnation on Winter at that point, who gets a hold of a gun from Detective Samuels and shoots Detective Samuels in the head while going in full scum mode by using turd, which I thought was, again, you'll see why that's important. So we go to commercial, we come back, and, oh, lo and behold, it looks like that information came to some good use, because now we've got Kai and the clown cult in the basement, and we're seeing two hooded people being brought downstairs. And who are those two hooded people? They would be Dr. Vincent and Hope, of all people, surprisingly. Adina Porter, yes. Dr. Vincent's not so much of a surprise. Dr. Vincent's trying to play upon the whole family connection, everything. Dude, you've been trying to sell out your brother. It's kind of hard to lean on the whole brother thing at this point. So Kai essentially initiates a pinky session with his big bro. That results in Dr. Vincent not walking away with the same number of pinkies that he started with, because Kai wants to send a message to Dr. Vincent like, look, our trust is done. You're not my brother. This is gone. Before Dr. Vincent basically gets murdered. And then, yeah, we saw the writing on the wall. He had no control when all was said and done. He went from the control factor to just being essentially caught up at the machinations of Kai. What I thought was interesting for Hope is that Winter appears to be blaming Hope for killing Detective Samuels. And what I find interesting about that is why. And this is my theory. Because I don't think she's really blaming Hope. I think it's part of the setup. And the reason why I say this is because I find it interesting that Hope also uses turd when she starts lashing out at Kai and really going after him. And I think Winter had enough of an understanding to know that Kai wouldn't kill Hope. That Kai would put Hope into isolation, whatever the hell that is, but essentially leaving her alive, which makes her more viable still, which makes her a commodity still in play. I would wonder what the plan would have been if Kai had tried to kill her. Again, this is a theory. The other theory I want to take into consideration, too, is that Kai didn't kill Hope because he essentially feels like Hope's kind of won, and maybe that being in isolation will save her for whatever's to come. I still think there's some scenes we haven't seen from the season-long trailer that are going to lead up to some major, major carnage going to these final episodes. Because, again, there's only 11 episodes, and we're coming up on 9 tonight. So, yeah, I think that the Hope situation with Winter, there's some setup going on. How involved Kai is with it, I have no idea. And remember, just to keep in mind, we didn't see BB this week either. So, and I don't think we're just seeing Frances Conroy for like one episode. So I think she's going to be a factor also. But just when we're now dealing with all of this, we look like everything's settled. We're looking at, well, it looks like we got a new clown. And Kai makes it a point of introducing who the new member to the cult is. And while it may not be a surprise, I gotta say it was still a surprise when all of a sudden mask is off and Allie is just rocking it right there as the new cult member. I think that's going to create for a very interesting dynamic. You have somebody right now who I think is at a level that even Kai's not. Again, this whole I don't fear anything, I'm not afraid. I will walk into the fire if I need to because I'm just numb from everything I've been through. That makes Allie painfully dangerous and very interesting going forward. I'm not sure Ivy's really going to be able to kind of keep it together. I'm curious to see how far along Ivy gets in the situation. Okay, folks, I want to thank you guys for joining me for this recap. Hope you enjoyed it. Do not forget that we are going to be doing the live blog tonight for Drink the Kool-Aid, the 9th episode, which already has ominous sounds to it. And I'm thinking we might be getting Evan Peters, Jim Jones for Jonestown. I think we might be getting that reenactment tonight. But yeah, please join me tonight. We're going to be starting pre-gaming starting at around 9 p.m. And then East Coast time. Then at 10 o'clock, we're going to be starting the live blog. Check us out on bleedingcool.com. We will have the live blog site posted and have that ready to go. Don't forget to comment. Hope you enjoy this recap. And I will hopefully see you guys online tonight and join you guys next week for a recap. Take care. Happy Halloween. Enjoy the candy corn and have a really, really cool one.